This is a Nightline Friday night special.
In the 150-degree heat of the Kuwaiti desert, American forces are training to fight.
We are the best trained we've ever been.
The mission, to protect Kuwait and, if asked, to take on Iraq.
When called upon, we're going to kick some ass.
Iraq is about an hour's drive away from Kuwait City.
I'm not talking about hours. It could be minutes if somebody have an idea to do anything stupid.
But is the United States preparing to topple Saddam anytime soon?
The United States has been saying that Saddam Hussein will be toppled next month, and the calendar is full of misleading promises.
Tonight, desert heat with the U.S. troops on the Iraqi border.
From ABC News, this is Nightline. Reporting from Washington, Chris Bury.
One of the more popular catchphrases in Washington this summer is regime change, as in, we need a regime change in Iraq. Nearly everyone in this town seems to support the idea. The president, his defense secretary, many pundits, even top Democrats on the Hill. The phrase sounds almost benign, as if a regime change was something quick and convenient like an oil change. But barring a coup or assassination, it's really a euphemism for war. And considering the war planning already underway, the topic has received relatively little national attention, much less debate. That is in stark contrast to the last time the U.S. took on Iraq. In 1990, then President Bush and much of his cabinet spent months selling the idea to the American public and coalition partners overseas. And that was after Iraq had already invaded Kuwait and threatened Saudi Arabia. This time, the administration has yet to make its case to the country in any systematic way, and unlike last time, its coalition partners are hostile or, at best, ambivalent about the idea. But just a few miles from the Iraqi border, U.S. troops are already training for the day when the orders come for a regime change in Baghdad. Nightline correspondent Don Dahler reports from Kuwait.
War is noisy business. And despite a mind-boggling array of high-tech weapon systems and computer-guided machinery, war is also hot, sweaty, hard work. Especially here, especially now when the summer sun bears down on the Kuwaiti desert, raising temperatures upwards of 150 degrees Fahrenheit.
Tanks become very hot, engines become very hot.
But not even the suffocating heat can distract these men and women from going about what are in effect preparations for a war against Iraq. They won't talk about it out loud. This is an Arab country after all, and other Arab countries aren't so keen on the idea. But out here, war with Iraq is on everyone's minds.
When called upon, we're going to kick some ass.
Officially, the soldiers are here for Operation Desert Spring, part of a protective coalition force made up of soldiers from Gulf War veteran nations, including Britain, France, and Germany, to defend Kuwait from a possible invasion by Iraq.
Knowing that there's a hostile nation 15 kilometers from us kind of gets us in the mood to train a little better, I would say. It puts us in the right frame of mind.
These men and women are some of the 10,000 or so U.S. troops in Kuwait, twice as many as were here last year, and most of whom are stationed here at Camp Doha. There is another U.S. military base under construction in the southern part of Kuwait, and another 4,000 to 10,000 U.S. soldiers and support personnel reportedly in the neighboring country of Qatar. The U.S. denies that there's any buildup in the region, but the American military is now on the ground in every Gulf Arab state.
Contrary to government statements, many Kuwaitis are straightforward about their hopes that drills like this will evolve into a war that will finally finish off Saddam Hussein once and for all.
They are skeptical. They say, oh, the United States has been saying that Saddam Hussein will be toppled next month, and the calendar is full of misleading promises.
Spend any time with the soldiers in these tanks, and you get no sense of pressure to fulfill any such political promises. The pressure they're under is to hone their fighting skills under extreme conditions.
We were the best trained we've ever been.
They're out here for 6 months at a time, running week-long exercises day and night, which are, in effect, mini wars. No rest, no break from the heat, no let-up from the mental and physical challenges, just like a real war.
We work 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. We get great support from the Kuwaitis and the Army, and that's what it takes.
This battle started at 2 a.m. under the cover of darkness.
The United States Army owns the night. It allows us to go and attack in a similar situation that we would do in warfare.
We took out a couple enemy vehicles, so we did our job.
These soldiers are the first to admit the advantage out here is technological. Bombs or bullets don't spell the strategic difference in modern desert warfare. Electrons do. Iraq's military capabilities don't even come close.
You are in the best combat system in the world when you're an M1A1 tank.
The U.S. forces may have all the advantages, but the Iraqis refuse to play the role of the vanquished.
Our threat is obviously from the north.
General Ali Al-Mamun commanded a Kuwaiti tank company during the Gulf War. Today, he is the Kuwaiti Army's chief of staff.
Some of these units are so close to our border. I'm not talking about hours. It could be minutes if somebody have, an idea to do anything, stupid.
There are American officers now churning up the Kuwaiti desert in tanks and motorized artillery who've been here before, during the Gulf War. For them, especially since September 11th, these exercises have a deeper meaning.
Being out here to do what I do in Kuwait, helping defend Kuwait, makes me feel good, makes me feel like I'm contributing.
1990, following the Iraqi invasion, coalition forces began a massive buildup in the Gulf region. For 7 months, Kuwait endured a brutal occupation. There were public beatings and executions, and thousands of Kuwaitis were captured and hauled away as well. 605 are missing still.
If they're alive, we need information. We need information, whether they're dead or alive.
Now, as George W. Bush's administration puts the pieces in place for a possible Gulf War, the sequel, the question arises over whether there is the legal authority to order troops to move on Saddam Hussein's Iraq. This week, Kuwait called for UN authority over any future attack, raising suspicions that Kuwait does not welcome unilateral U.S. action. That may simply be public relations.
No one can stop the United States, but Kuwait has to say something which supports its always reliance on international legitimacy.
And even Kuwait's Minister of State for Foreign Affairs believes the legal basis is already in place with existing Security Council resolutions.
If Iraq continue to defy the international will and continue to refuse to allow inspectors back and releasing of Kuwaiti prisoners and that sort of thing, I think Iraq will be in a breach of the ceasefire, and I think that there is a legal basis for action.
And just as it did 11 years ago, the burden of that action would fall on the shoulders of the U.S. military. These men and women, most of whom were still in elementary school when the first Gulf War was fought, but all of whom today are getting a graduate-level course in desert warfare.
This is ABC News Nightline, brought to you by the U.S. Postal Service.
10% less paperwork, only from Bank of America.
Want to get this close? You could win an all-access pass to next year's Indy 500. Just watch the Michigan Indy 400 Sunday at 3 Eastern on ABC.
The salespeople are different, all right.
Get this. There's no hard sell.
Salespeople don't latch on to you, you know.
It's Wix Customer First Shopping.
Sweet.
It's the final weekend of Wix Furniture's biggest sale of the summer. 36 hours of savings. Plus, no money down with no monthly payments and no finance charges due till 2004.
Wix salespeople are so wonderful, they don't attack you from behind. Pity!
Eagle to base, I am in the nest. Target is acquired. We have a confirmed sale in progress. Eagle swooping in for closer look.
It's the National Maytag Sale. Save big on select Maytag washers, ranges, dishwashers, and refrigerators. Better watch out. These deals won't last long.
Eagle has been spotted. Mayday, mayday. Retreat, retreat.
Oh, boy. The National Maytag Sale, going on now for a limited time only.
Only an hour's drive from the Iraqi border lies one of the most modern cities in the Middle East, or anywhere for that matter.
FM 99.7. Always the best mix of music.
Kuwait City is a sprawling, manicured metropolis of skyscrapers, superhighways, mansions, and parks, all of which somehow manage to resist melting under the searing desert sun. There are very few visible reminders of the 1990 invasion. An Iraqi T-55 tank sits in front of a museum dedicated to the Kuwaiti resistance. This cemetery holds many of the war dead. But that's about it. The Kuwait towers, those distinctive symbols of prosperity, reflect the deep blue of the Gulf skies. A decade ago, they were blackened and pitted by Iraqi shells, and Kuwait City was in ruin. The Kuwaitis keep a few twisted, rusting, melted relics from the 725 oil fires that took 7 months to put out. But they're determined to clean up the last of the massive oil lakes that once covered the desert sands with 25 million gallons of crude. Less than 1% remains, this one still sporting an Iraqi tank. A reminder of the forces that still exist to the north under the continued leadership of Saddam Hussein.
The capabilities that he currently possesses is more than sufficient to inflict the same amount of damage that he inflicted 12 years ago. We are a small country, small, peaceful country.
Today, American-style malls surrounded by expensive yachts are filled with fast food restaurants and fashionably dressed shoppers.
I go out every day with my friends to restaurants, the malls. It's fine.
And what do you do at the malls?
Shopping, watching games.
Both of which are favorite pastimes for Kuwaiti youth. And unlike Saudi Arabia, there are no visible religious police here to prevent interaction between the sexes, although dancing is still banned. Safa Al-Masaid doesn't mind the attention.
Maybe I'm beautiful or look like my hair, my makeup. It doesn't mean he must look at me as he's not good inside. No.
But in what some see as a sign of growing conservatism here, many women in Kuwait over the past few years have started wearing traditional robes. Even Safa plans to one day.
I'm free by my clothes, by my ideas, by everything. But, I have my tradition. I must wear it, This is my religion.
Although there is no national law that says she must do so. For Safa and others, it's their free choice.
We can do anything. We can wear clothes, we can put hijab, we do anything,
Well, that's not entirely true. What women in Kuwait can't do is vote for parliament or hold elected office. Kuwait's leader, the emir himself, proposed a law that would have given women suffrage, but a contentious parliament voted it down. And for good measure, that same parliament insisted that a 5-year-old law requiring the segregation of the sexes at all universities be strictly enforced.
These laws are the handiwork of a small group of people known as the Islamics within the parliament. And their increasing influence has put Kuwait on the defensive.
Conservative meaning in the context of Kuwait, it does not mean to get away or to isolationism, for example, or anti-Western tendencies. No, absolutely not. The concept of radicalism is alien to Kuwaiti culture.
Nonetheless, for many Kuwaitis, the laws are an embarrassment.
It should be more democratic. Women should vote. Women should be represented. Women should be equal.
And some say it's a mistake to write these political issues off as a clash of cultures, Western values versus Islam.
How free is the press in Kuwait?
100%.
100% relative to the Arab world, or 100% period?
100% period.
Bibi Amarzouk is the editor of Al Anba newspaper, one of a half-dozen lively, opinionated, and widely read newspapers in Kuwait.
Do you want the right to vote in the country in which you live and work?
Personally, no. Maybe I am a hypocrite saying that and having the power and making opinion, shaping opinion. But it will strengthen the religious movement in Kuwait. That is my fear.
Because in traditional Islamic households, men are allowed up to 4 wives and may try to influence their votes. The Kuwaiti Constitution guarantees every citizen a government job. There are no income taxes, and everything is subsidized by the enormous oil revenues. But for how long?
The welfare system is a drain. It is a bleeding, financial bleeding on the government. So it is a threat.
Meanwhile, there's a more immediate danger to the north.
Iraq, Saddam Hussein certainly represent a clear and present danger as far as Kuwaitis are concerned. The man who committed that crime is still in power.
So Kuwait is counting on the American military force and the American political will to finally bring about an end to that threat. And that eventuality is exactly what these men and women are training for. The global politics, the cultural nuances, the historical jealousies, none of those mean more to them than the heat and the job and doing it right. I'm Don Daler for Nightline with the American forces in Kuwait.
How difficult and costly would an invasion of Iraq be? That conversation when we come back.
The first thing anyone will tell you when you're trying to design your own place is that you can start with just one thing.
You know, a sofa or a new coffee table.
You come in, and we have someone there to help you.
We'll take your budget and try and fit into that budget what you'd really like to do.
The design consultants at Ethan Allen.
We'll help turn the home of your dreams into a reality.
We do a lot more than people usually think.
The complimentary design service.
It's fun.
It's free.
It's easy.
Within these hallowed halls exist many challenges, like asking the folks for financial aid. Should one be dramatic, wrong, sincere, dearest mother and father, or logical? GPA drop was concurrent with the depletion of pizza funds. Or should one just get a Dell? All through July, Dell's giving away 50 grand in the 50K a day giveaway. Yep, Dell helps you get a PC the way you want and gives your folks a chance to use 50K any way they want.
Call or go online now, and you could win 50 grand in Dell's 50K a day giveaway when you order America's favorite PC, like this Dimension desktop for just $699, featuring an Intel Pentium 4 processor with awesome performance for music, digital photos, gaming, and beyond. And for a limited time, you'll get free shipping.
Dude, you need to get a Dell.
Easy to buy, easy to own, easy as Dell. Dell PCs use Intel Pentium 4 processors.
Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus versus Sergio Garcia and Lee Trevino. Lincoln Financial Group battle at Bighorn. Live Monday night at 8 Eastern on ABC.
Does a pair beat a straight?
Yes.
What?
Gina, 3?
Gina.
Come on, she's been sending me pictures.
On the phone? Pictures of what?
Things she can do.
Oh.
I'm out.
When a wireless phone lets you take and send pictures,
That ought to do it.
that's M Life from AT&T Wireless.
When you come to Lowe's, look around. You won't see so-called sales events or anything marked special buy. At Lowe's, we have low prices every day. Not low one day and higher the next week. We don't play games with prices. Even when others have sales, the prices you see at Lowe's still can't be beat. Today, tomorrow, ever. That's our guarantee and our promise. Lowe's, improving home improvement.
Our guest tonight is Ken Pollack, the Director of National Security Studies at the Council on Foreign Relations. He was a specialist on Iraq for the National Security Council and at the Central Intelligence Agency. He joins us here in our Washington studio. And Ken, given the reports we've just seen, is there any doubt in your mind that serious planning is underway for a possible U.S. attack against Iraq?
I think there's no question that there is serious planning going on. The U.S. military is taking it very seriously. They've got troops training. They've got the planners planning. But I don't think that the administration has yet actually signed its name, the president's name, to any particular plan.
This would be the most momentous use of U.S. military force, certainly since the Gulf War. Do you find it somewhat curious, to say the least, that there's been so little public debate about it?
I find it more than curious. I find it disconcerting. This is going to be an enormous military effort, and I think that what the American people need to recognize is not only that this is going to be a big military campaign. In point of fact, all the military services are confident that if we do this right, the military campaign won't be the hard parts. But the problem is going to be that at the end of the day, when Saddam Hussein is defeated and there are U.S. forces throughout Iraq, we're going to have to rebuild Iraq, and that is going to be a very big effort. And I think the American people need to be involved in this process because they need to be willing to be committed both to the military campaign and to this lengthy process of reconstruction in Iraq that is going to have to follow.
Saddam Hussein has been a world menace, certainly, since the Gulf War. Everyone in the administration and even the Democrats agree on that. At the same time, he's been fairly well contained. Why take him out at this time? Why now?
There are two basic reasons for that, Chris. The first is that the containment regime that has served us so well since 1991 is really fraying at the edges. What we've seen over the last 2 or 3 years is that Saddam has been able to increase Iraq's smuggling of oil, increase the smuggling of weapons and other goods coming into Iraq, all outside the UN system. So he has a much greater control over his revenue. He's got about 4 or 5 times more revenue than he had even 2 or 3 years ago, and we are seeing more and more very dangerous equipment flowing into Iraq. So there's real concern on people's part that the weaponry, the weapons of mass destruction in particular, that Saddam was basically prevented from reconstituting even 3 or 4 years ago, he's now able to make real progress on. The second reason that's out there is September 11th. And it's not so much that there's an Iraqi link to September 11th. Nobody's been able to establish that. It's more a sense that the American public has now decided that whereas before September 11th, they were a little bit complacent about some of the threats out there in the world, now after September 11th, they realize that there are real threats out there and that the United States probably needs to take action, painful though it may be, to head those threats off before they can come home to roost here.
Couldn't you make those exact same arguments against another member of the so-called axis of evil? I mean, you could make the same case against North Korea, yet we're not pressing for a regime change there.
Well, I think there are two differences between Iraq and North Korea. The first one is that North Korea has nuclear weapons, and that means that any effort to topple the North Korean regime could provoke the use of nuclear weapons. In the case of Iraq, the idea is to topple Saddam Hussein before he can get the nuclear weapons. The second point to be made is that the North Koreans have demonstrated already a willingness to engage in a negotiation process which looks like it could resolve the standoff there. What we've seen with Saddam is an utter failure to engage in any kind of negotiations. Instead, Saddam has repeatedly stiffed the international community. He's violated every single international agreement he has ever signed his name to, and there's no indication that he would ever abide by such an agreement were he to sign another one.
All right, let's assume for a moment that the United States plan works. Saddam Hussein is deposed. What then? Would we have to be prepared to occupy Iraq for some unlimited period of time?
Conceivably. In an ideal world, the United States wouldn't be doing this alone. The best thing that we can do is go into this with a lot of allies. We want to be able to bring the UN in. We want to be able to bring European countries and Asian countries in who can supply resources, who can supply know-how. To some extent, it might be more like what we've been trying to do in the Balkans, in Bosnia, in Kosovo, to some extent what the UN's been trying to do in East Timor, in terms of truly constructing a new Iraq, one that is a stable polity, one that has a new system of government and a new free market economy.
Ken, very quickly, what timetable do you see for a possible attack? What's the window of opportunity?
It's unclear exactly what the administration is thinking of, but certainly any time after the elections is conceivable. The weather will turn much better for us, and obviously the political climate will be much more conducive.
All right, Ken Pollack, we've just barely scratched the surface, which proves the point that the debate has only begun. Thank you. I'll be back with a word about tonight's up-close broadcast in just a moment.
Introducing Mach 3 Turbo. Total comfort shaving down or up, and anti-friction coating on the blades, plus a strip with more lubrication. So even against the grain, there's less irritation. Mach 3 Turbo, new from Gillette.
Hurry into Sears for an extra 15% off clothing and shoes when you use your Sears card. Or an extra 10% off appliances, tools, and electronics. The Sears card event ends Saturday. Only at Sears. Where else?
Days go by and still I think of you. Days when I couldn't live my life without you. Without you. Without you.
As state senator, Gordon Smith helped implement the Oregon Health Plan. As U.S. Senator, he passed the State Child Health Insurance Plan. The result? 41,000 more Oregon children have health care. Now, Gordon Smith is leading the fight to protect Medicare benefits for seniors and to make sure every uninsured child has health care. Independent, effective. Oregon's Gordon Smith.
Shattering news, Portland. At long last, it's here. The legendary story, the heart-grabbing music, the international phenomenon, the Phantom of the Opera, the award-winning musical event that has captured the imagination of theater-goers around the world. Now it's your turn to surrender to the music of the night. Now in Portland through July 28th. Tickets at all Ticketmaster outlets, including Portland Opera, or call 503-790-ARTS.
The 15-hour sale is going on now at Meyer & Frank.
You've got to check it out.
You'll find great choices and save an extra 33% and 50% during our biggest clearance event.
Awesome.
You're sure to find great deals during our half-yearly furniture sale and the Easy Spirit Easy Summer Sale. Boost your store-wide savings up to 70% when you use your extra 15% off bonus coupons.
Better hurry.
The 15-hour sale is going on now at Meyer & Frank.
Tonight on Up Close, which follows Nightline on most ABC stations, he came back from battling cancer and is now on the verge of winning one of the toughest athletic challenges in the world for the 4th straight year. Lance Armstrong in his own words. And that's our report for tonight. I'm Chris Bury in Washington. I hope to see you shortly on Up Close.
This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source. ABC News, now traveling to all 50 states in 50 weeks in search of America. Sunday, the markets and investor anxiety. Can White House solutions turn the crisis around? Key advisor Lawrence Lindsay responds on This Week, Sunday.
A coffee shop with marijuana on the menu, a church that answers addicts' prayers. Is America ready to change how it fights the drug war? Wait till you see what John Stossel found Tuesday.
In a perfect world, everything would be easy. Until then, finding all your favorite brands at Mervyn's is Reebok, George Foreman, Levi's, Carter's. Find all your favorites. KitchenAid, Lee, Hager, Hanes, Mervyn's. Big brands, small prices.
When you can find the nearest locksmith. When you can check a movie time. And tell your friends you're running late. When you can find the right words to open a door. And you can do all this with a calling plan starting at $19.99 a month. That's M-Life.
10 full years.
If we can't beat any price on any comparable mattress, then the mattress is free. Mattress World, Clackamas, Beaverton, Jansen Beach, Northeast Portland, Canby, and Salem. Call toll-free 1-866-BEDS-4-U.
It's not too late to sleep like a baby. Mattress World.
Favorable. Having an outcome that is in one's best interest. The 2002 Honda Clearance. The once-a-year opportunity for special savings on all available Accords. The odds are definitely in your favor. The 2002 Honda Clearance. Lucky you.